Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. It's a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express, the important news and editorial that would be relevant for the preparation of civil services examination will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with the news topic list. Today is 12th of August. The first important news, that is Centre proposed new bill to overhaul the criminal laws. We'll see the details, the part of the changes that has been brought in by the Ministry of Home Affairs. Second, that is bill amending GST laws on online gaming. The changes, the new rate slab has been passed by the Union government. Third, that is India to strengthen the MDP to address the part of the global challenges. Second last, that is Election Commission publishes final delimitation report on Assam. And the last is an editorial, the right to treatment. This talks about the detail about the tuberculosis cases and drugs resistance that is impacting. Apart from the news and editorial discussion, at the end of this video, there will be MCQ based questions. These questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming examination. So without any further ado, let's get started. And before I begin this session, if you are new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do hit that like button. Starting the session, the first news, that is Centre proposed new bill to overhaul the criminal laws. This was something long demanded, and even the ruling party has on several occasions they have said that they will bring some important changes. So talking about the part, this is important for general studies paper 2, that is the functions and responsibility of union and states and issues and challenges pertaining to the federal structure. Also important for the same paper where government policies and intervention are mentioned. So the changes that has been brought in, basically if you see the part of Indian judiciary and the part of IPC that is functioning criminal laws की अगर बात करें, 3 rules हैं जिनके थ्रू ये सारी चीजें चलती है. First is the Indian Penal Code 1860, which will be replaced by Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. Then we have CRPC, that is Criminal Procedure Code, that will be Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha and Sanhita. And the last is Indians Evidence Act 1872, which will be called as Bharatiya Sankhya. I'll tell you the detail what are the changes that has been brought in. So let's deep down into the part of the news. So the Centre has recently brought in the part of the changes in the Lok Sabha that is completely overhauling the part of British era Indian criminal system and Indian Penal Code CRPC जिसे कहते हैं. And even first is IPC, this is the first one. The second is CRPC and third is the Indians Evidence Act. Right? So in चीजों में तीनों चीजों में changes liking है, and the changes has been brought in with the particular bill that is Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita Bill 2023, which will replace the part of IPC. Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita, which will seek to replace the part of CRPC, and Bharatiya Sankhya Bill, that is the part of 2023, which seeks to replace the part of Indian Evidence Act. Right? Now the bill proposes 313 amendment that will be basically aiming to bring the part of revolutionary changes in the Indian criminal justice system. So definitely the changes that has been brought in is in the consideration with the part of the present changes that is there in the society. There might be some positive and negative aspect to it. It is subject to the part of a critical evaluation by the matter expert. Now provisions of this bill की अगर बात करें, so sedition laws to be replaced by another section. The legislation proposed to replace the part of sedition law which come into force in 1860. The British used these provisions to punish Indian leaders seeking the independence during 19th century and 20th century. And sedition has been the part of subject of debate. Even Supreme Court has said that this is something which is not in cognizance with the part of the present findings and even right to fundamental right की भी कहीं ना कहीं violations. Now these were 30 cases of seditions 2015 and 250 cases of the sedition 2018. This is by the report published by the National Crime Record Bureau. Now eviction under the sedition charges is currently carrying the maximum sentence of life imprisonment, and the proposed bill seeks to replace the part of seditions which can act as seen as a danger to the sovereignty, unity, integrity and unity of the India. Now the other proposed changes, see I'm not discussing the complete detailed changes that has been brought in. That is not even necessary for you as an aspirant of civil services examination. I'm just highlighting the important changes because the detail would be required for lawyer and the people who are involved in the judicial matters. So this particular bill also proposes a part of the certain provision allowing the capital punishment for predator of mob lynching. तो mob lynching के केस में death capital punishment की बात की गई है. They also prescribe minimum sentence of 20 years for the gang rape. Furthermore, it will make the sexual exploitation on the pretext of marriage, employment or promotions, and through using the hidden identity, it will be a crime. And this called for an imprisonment for 10 years. The bill also introduces the community services for a petty crime rather than the custodial sentence, and fixed time would be imposed for the trials of the criminal investigation. So the investigations, the trial will be in a time-bound manner to provide the part of justice at the earliest. Now moving to the other news, that is bill amending the GST laws and online gaming, something important for General Studies paper 3. That is Indian economy and issues related to planning, mobilization, resource, growth and development. The Union Finance Minister has introduced the bill to amend the part of central laws, that is integrating the part of GST to facilitate the levy of 28%. I think most of you must be aware. I have made the discussion to this news several times. The time it was there on the discussion, तो मैंने आपके साथ डिस्कस भी किया है. फेस वैल्यू पे 28% GST की बात की गई है. This will be made on casinos, horse racing and online gaming, right? So the changes that has been brought in is through the bill, that is the Center Goods and Services Act Amendment Bill 2023 and the Integrated Goods and Services Act that were introduced by the Finance Minister. One of the other amendment to the center GST and IGST was passed, but this state will have a similar amendment in the state GST, which will be cleared by the respective assemblies. तो एक बार लोकसभा राज्यसभा से पास होने के बाद हर एक स्टेट को भी अपने लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली में से पास करना होगा. Now the amendment pertain to the part of inserts जहाँ पे Schedule 3 specifically with the IGST to provide the clarity on the taxations, supplies the casinos, हॉर्स ट्रेडिंग और जो ऑनलाइन गेमिंग है उन चीज़ों पे 28% फ्लैट at the face value that will be charged. The amendment of the IGST also relate to the part of incenting to the provisions which impose GST liability on the online money gaming provided with the offshore entities. Such entities would be required to get GST registration in India. Now, backlocking access to online gaming की अगर बात करें, the amendment will be provided for the blocking of access of the online gaming performed, that is platform located overseas to failure to comply with the registration and tax payment provisions. So overseas companies or entity will be liable for the tax and even for the compliances. The amendment in the GST and integrated GST will be approved by the GST Council. The Council has approved 28% levy on the face value of the entry for the online gaming, casinos and horse racing. So you can be asked to examine the part of the consequences where it be impacting the part of the industry that is there, but ultimately government has to take the regulatory measures to ensure that there is no malpractices ongoing. Now moving ahead with other news, India to strengthen the MDB to address the part of global challenges. MDB stand for Multi-Development Banks. This particular news is important for General Studies paper 3, that is inclusive growth and issues arising from it. If you look at the part, recently the Finance Minister of India has said that the primary focus of India's G20 presidency in 2023 will be to strengthen the part of the multilateral development bank in order to address the part of global challenges. अगर MDB की बात करें, this is again a very important topic. You can expect a direct question in the mains examination, right? So MDB also facing the increasing demands from borrowing countries or expand their lending operations beyond the core development mandates. So multilateral development bank, they have actually played a role in part of restructuring the overall finances. अगर बात करें MDBs की, they are not currently equipped to address the rising demand and their resources adequately. And even the minister said that an independent expert group will strengthen the part of MDB to be set up under the G20 presidency. Now, what exactly is multi-development bank? You should know. So this multilateral development bank are the international financial institutions, which can be these institutions. This include the part of Asian Development Bank, the African Development Bank, the Indian America Development Bank. So these are some of the examples. And these institutions provide financial support, technical assistance to the developing countries on various development projects and programs. So that is a main role of the MDB, and they actually ensure that an holistic development should be promoted. Now, these institutions aims to promote the economic growth, and ultimately, if the growth is there, it will help to reduce the part of poverty anywhere across the globe, improve the living standard, and basically the recipient country will be mutually benefited. As I've told you, these are the group which include the World Bank Group, Asian Development Bank, and the part of African Development, Inter-American Development Corporation of the banks. But the multi-development bank play a crucial role in supporting the infrastructure and sustaining the part of the sustainable development initiatives. G20 finance track की अगर बात करें, the finance minister has categorically said that the discussion on the G20 track was escalating the part of debt issues in the vulnerable economies which posed significant economic crisis. और India G20 presidency की बात करें, this will continue till November 2023. So India has given a great opportunity जहाँ पे सारे important issues को discuss की जा रही है. The global debt vulnerabilities, demonstrating the part of commitment, voicing the part of global south is again important. Now global south in general has become very important in the discussion for the past couple of months. So you should know, I mean, the global order, this is there in news repeatedly. The global south के बारे में आपको पता होना चाहिए. I'll show you a map. These are the countries that is basically concerning with the part of global south: Europe, Asia, Africa, South America, North America, and the part of Australia. Now moving ahead with other news, EC publishes final delimitations report on Assam, something important for General Studies paper 2. That is the Parliament and State Legislature, structure, functions, conduct and privileges and issues arising from it. This is particularly with the Office of the Election Commission. Delimitation is an important exercise when it comes to the part of electoral roll and the distributions of the seats among the constituencies. Now, the Election Commission of India has published the final delimitations order for the Assembly and Parliamentary Constitution in Assam, retaining the number from 120 seat at 126 and 14 respectively. बात करें commissions की, they have over 1200 representation that were considered before freezing the proposal, and 45% of suggestion and objection has been addressed in the report. Final proposal की बात करें, this was prepared by the commission with an extensive consultation exercise. जो diverse stakeholders हैं उनके inputs को ली गई है. 3 days of public hearing in Guwahati was there. A draft proposal in July 2023 and a pre-meeting with the drafting of the report was done in March 2023. Now, reservation of constituencies की अगर बात करें as per the census, this is done basically on that. So the reservation of the constituencies for the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe are done on the basis of the provisions that is laid down in Article 330 and 332 of the Indian Constitutions. Poll panel ने कहा कि जो delimitation के draft है, that was a major changes at 30 and 126 assemblies constituencies. This was not immediately to clear with the chances were there. And among the part of the total, 19 assembly constituencies and 2 parliament constituencies has been reserved for the scheduled tribe. Now, and just to remind you, इससे पहले जो delimitations की exercise थी वो 1976 में की गई थी on the basis of the census 1971 और उसके बाद अब 2023 में ये census की जा रही है. Now, this exercise could be carried out in 2002, but along with the rest of the India, because of the law and order situation in the region, this was delayed, and finally the delimitation has been brought in by the Election Commission of India in consultation with the various stakeholders and the part of the participants. Now moving ahead with the editorial of the day, the right to treatment, something important for General Studies paper 2, that is issues related to development and management of health. So what I'll be discussing under this editorial, we'll see the part of resistance which is there with the tuberculosis. So tuberculosis diagnostic and its roadmap has been highlighted in the article. So the part of drug resistance tuberculosis, which is also known as the part of DR tuberculosis, improvement in the diagnostic, universal access to rapid TB diagnostics and the way forward. Now, tuberculosis was the world's deadliest infection. This was declared by WHO before COVID-19 swept the completely part of the death numbers. So tuberculosis, even in India, we have the highest number. I'll tell you the statics, what is the exact performance in a while. Now, each year, nearly 500,000 developed drug resistance TB and nearly 10.4 million people developed the part of drug resistance TB. तो ये एक बहुत बड़ी समस्या है इंडिया में, एंड इवन नॉट फॉर इंडिया बट फॉर वर्ल्ड ऑल्सो, बट इंडिया में ये नंबर काफ़ी हाई है. 1/3 of the world population is latent to the TB, the version of disease that can run actively as an immunity falls. Drug resistance tuberculosis की अगर बात करें, globally DRTB is a major contributor to the antimicrobial resistance and continue to be the public health threat. Drug resistance tuberculosis is a huge challenge that demands our urgent attention. Definitely, this is something which has also become the problem with the number escalating in India. While the quarters of the world DBT cases, India's response can now have countries dealing with the growing threat which is ongoing. WHO estimates की अगर बात करें, close to 1,19,000 new cases has been there in the multi-drug rapamycin resistance to emerge the part of each year in India. Now, if you precisely look at the part of the numbers that is there for tuberculosis patient in India and the world, India contribute 27% of the population. That is, among the total, 27% contribute from India, 9% from China, Indonesia 8%, Philippines 6%, Pakistan 6%, Nigeria 4%, Bangladesh 4%, and South Africa 4%, and rest 33% is across the globe. Now, improvement in diagnostic की बात की गई, if you see the part of recent, there have been improvement with the incorporation of technology. So huge improvement has been seen in diagnostic. Once the diagnostic is improved, the prevention help to get the things done. It is always an important advice that prevention is better than cure. So presently it is possible to rapidly detect the TB as the part of drug resistance using the rapid molecular diagnostic. Very important. This can be relevant for the prelims examination also. These tests were extensively used during the COVID-19 pandemic also. यूनिवर्सल एक्सेस टू रैपिड डायग्नोस्टिक्स की बात की गई है. WHO ने एक अपनी रिपोर्ट में बेसिकली दे हैव सेड दैट द स्टैंडर्ड ऑन यूनिवर्सल एक्सेस टू रैपिड TB डायग्नोस्टिक इज समथिंग वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, जहाँ पे मॉलिकुलर डायग्नोस्टिक्स के थ्रू हाई लेवल ऑफ आइडेंटिफिकेशंस की जा रही हैं, विच इज कॉस्ट इफेक्टिव एंड रिड्यूसिंग द पार्ट ऑफ ट्रीटमेंट रिलेटेड इशूज ऑल्सो. In India, only 23% of those present with the TB have the diagnostic done, and these initial investigation 77% of the suspended patients. Microscopists की अगर बात करें, century old cannot detect the part of drug resistance and detect only half of the people with this test. As per the India TB report 2023, 22,000 Indian are MDR and RR TB patients which were on the treatment which contained the part of injectables. Now, way forward, how that India can achieve and what are the things that India can do on the part, and even G20 में भी health पे काफ़ी ज़्यादा discussion हुई है. So India is the global supplier for the Petramod and the part of the drug that is there for BAPL regime. Public awareness एक बहुत ही important aspect है, because reducing the part of communities TB के symptoms को पता करना, उनके transmissions को रोकना is very important part of early diagnostic, right? The rest lies with the part of advanced treatment, but these are the initial part of the defense, line of defense that every individual need to be aware of. India, as of now, has highly accurate tools with the part of detecting DRTB. It can be cured within 6 months of oral medication, but subject to the part of earlier identifications. In 2023, there are new tools that must be easily widely available to the people, and building and strengthening the part of healthcare infrastructure that can lead to better TB management can improve the part of public health overall. So these are some of the important changes that need to be incorporated to ensure that we are reducing on the number of TB globally, and at global level India की सबसे ज़्यादा burden है tuberculosis के cases में. I'm moving ahead with the MCQ questions of the day. Before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday's questions. For first question, the correct option was C. For second question, the correct option was C. Today's MCQ for practice is about CBI, that is Central Bureau of Investigations. आपको बताना है, it's a statutory body established under the SP Act. It's a nodal agency which coordinates for the part of Interpol members. It can have a suo motu investigations only on the offences in the union territories. So do check out for the correct options. Second question of the day is about the sugar industries. India is the largest producer of the sugar and exporter in the world. Government has been encouraging sugar mills to divert the part of ethanol blending. So do check out for the correct option. We have a lot more other platform where daily current affair question and contemporary questions are published. Do check it out. This will help you a lot in the part of preparation. If you have any other concern, you can definitely reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.